Hey guys, how are you doing today? I'm Star Wars Meg, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about the things you need to know about Moff Gideon before watching The Mandalorian Season 2. There's some really vital information in today's video guys, so I really hope you enjoy it, but before I get into it, please may I ask you to hit like on this video, to subscribe to my channel if you're new, and also please consider becoming a patron of mine on Patreon. But without further ado, let's get back into the video. So the first thing you need to know is a little bit about his backstory. Moff Gideon was a human male who served the Galactic Empire as an officer in the Imperial Secretary Bureau. By circa 9 ABY, 9 years after the Battle of Yavin, Gideon had attained the rank of Moff and led a remnant of Imperial forces, having somehow faked his execution for war crimes after the fall of the Empire. He wished to acquire a valuable asset from Avala 7, tasking the client and Dr. Pershing with bringing it alive by any means necessary. This asset, of course, was the Force-sensitive infant known as the Child, or as we like to call him, Baby Yoda. This of course brings us to our next point, which is absolutely pivotal for Season 2, which is why does he want Baby Yoda? What's his interest with the child? There have been a myriad of fan theories regarding the child, aka Baby Yoda, as well as the reasons that Moff Gideon is obsessed with obtaining the adorable Force user, the primary antagonist of The Mandalorian's first season. Brilliantly portrayed by Giancarlo Esposito, little has been revealed regarding Moff Gideon's past. Gideon did not make his appearance until the penultimate episode of Season 1 and will play a significantly larger role in Season 2, but a new theory potentially sheds light on the enigmatic backstory of Moff Gideon and explains his desire to capture Baby Yoda. The theory starts by making the point that Moff Gideon clearly presents himself akin to the legendary Sith Lord Darth Vader. While most Moffs like Grand Moff Tarkin wear a traditional officer uniform, Gideon wears a distinctive armoured chest piece and long flowing cape. Much like Vader, Gideon murders his own men and shows a disturbing temper. In addition to wielding similar armour and using TIE fighters, Gideon is also seen wielding a Darksaber in the final shot of the first season. An ancient lightsaber with a black blade, the Darksaber was forged by the first Mandalorian Jedi, Tari Vizsla. While it appears as if Moff Gideon is trying to emulate Darth Vader's image, one thing that Moff Gideon can't copy is his Force sensitivity. This may be the reason why Moff Gideon wants to capture the child and experiment on him. If Gideon is obsessed with Darth Vader and wants to emulate him as much as possible, draining the Force sensitivity out of the child could be the one way to do so. A Redditor uses a couple of points to strengthen this argument. The Redditor notes that when the Mandalorian brought the child back to the client in the third episode, Dr. Pershing began to extract something from the child. Secondly, Dr. Pershing is nowhere to be found in the season finale, meaning that he was probably moved to a more secure location. The theory continues to speculate that Gideon's obsession with the child may lead him into a confrontation with Ahsoka, who will reportedly be played by, of course, Rosario Dawson. It has already been confirmed that Gideon will be wielding his Darksaber in the next season, and the inclusion of Ahsoka Tano could be pivotal to this. And that brings us on to our next point that you have to know about Moff Gideon before watching The Mandalorian Season 2, and this is his surprising connection to the Force. Giancarlo Esposito, the actor who plays Moff Gideon, teased that Moff Gideon's surprising connection to Force powers will be further explored in the upcoming season. Speaking with Sci-Fi in light of The Mandalorian's upcoming season, the actor was asked if Moff Gideon is Force sensitive. Esposito understandably can't answer this straightforwardly, but he floats the idea that maybe he is. Regardless, the actor says that his character has a quote-unquote old-school connection to the Force. I say that's a possibility, he says. I can't say for sure that that completely is the truth, but look, we've seen him come out of the TIE fighter and we've seen him also with the Darksaber. I would have to say that some surprises are coming down the pike in regards to connection levels. So it is true that Moff Gideon could potentially have Force powers, and I think this is going to be an epic season with lightsaber duels and just some awesome Mandalorian-esque scenery and visual effects. The final thing you absolutely have to know about Moff Gideon is when and where he potentially got hold of the Darksaber, and the importance of the Darksaber with regards to The Mandalorian Season 2 and the character of Moff Gideon altogether. The Mandalorian Season 1 ended on an almighty cliffhanger as Moff Gideon revealed he possessed the Darksaber, but when and where could he have got it? Moff Gideon has the Darksaber in The Mandalorian and he's not afraid to use it. First introduced in Star Wars The Clone Wars, the Darksaber was created by the first and only Mandalorian Jedi, Tari Vizsla, and was passed down to his descendants after the relic was reclaimed from the pesky thieving Jedi. Since then, the weapon has come to symbolize Mandalorian leadership, and whoever would hold the Darksaber also held the power of the Mandalorian people in one form or another. The last canonical location of the Darksaber was in the hands of Bo-Katan. Exactly how and when the Darksaber moves from Bo-Katan to Gideon is not explicitly stated, with roughly a decade passing between Wren's relinquishing of the sword and Esposito's villain cutting his way out of the downed fighter, but there are some clues contained within The Mandalorian's first season. Peppered throughout the season with references to mysterious Hitotro events referred to as the Great Purge, the specifics of this ominous-sounding piece of history are unclear. But based on what can be gleaned from the armor, Gideon and other Mandalorians, the Empire launched a decisive attack on Mandalore that almost crushed the entire culture. After emerging victorious, the Empire stole Mandalore's rich resources, which is why Werner Herzog's Shady the Client possesses copious amounts of Beskar steel, and the remaining survivors of the Purge were forced into nomadic lifestyles, as seen on Navarro. This information implicitly confirms that Mandalore was either destroyed or fell entirely under Imperial rule as the result of the attack. In the Mandalorian season finale, Moff Gideon confirms that he was heavily involved in the Great Purge and must have also gained access to the records of Mandalore in order to know that Mando's real name was Djarin. Following the Purge of Mandalore, Gideon either killed the current leader, whether that be Kryze or a successor, or was put in charge of the Imperial-controlled planet by the Emperor. In both cases, he would come into the possession of the Darksaber as a spoil of war or a mark of his new leadership, or both. Moff Gideon's arc is going to get extremely interesting in Season 2 of The Mandalorian, and I bet by the season finale we're going to be begging to see more action of him. So there you go guys, that's absolutely everything you need to know about Moff Gideon coming up to The Mandalorian Season 2. It's just over a month away and we are extremely excited as a fan base. I really hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're new, comment down below, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm Star Wars Meg.